Alright, so today we're gonna be looking at my commander deck. This is my first ever commander deck that I ever made. I not made one before. So just a heads up, this is probably gonna be quite a nerdy video and possibly a kind of a rambly video. So I mean, I have other videos as well. So commander deck is a 100 card deck led by a specific card who is the commander, and every card must be unique, an individual card. Right, so before you freak out, because the cards are not sleeved, right, so it was sleeved, and it fits perfectly in this box when it's sleeved, right? Okay, so before you freak out, I had to take the sleeves off because it's too reflective for the video, and I need to record it so you can actually see it, because it's just like a flipping mirror, and you couldn't see anything, so don't freak out, So, because it's funny, because these decks normally go to a lot of money. I guess this is a budget. This is a budget deck because I just built it with cards that I kind of have and stuff like that. It probably still comes at like $80 or something. Like, it's probably still really expensive. Like, for me, it's like, whoa, that's a lot. I wouldn't normally, but that's like considered budget. So don't freak out. Alright, so we're going to be talking and nerdy stuff, okay? So if you like that kind of thing, well, we're good to go. We're good to go for the next half hour, my goodness. We're going to start with this guy. This guy was originally going to be my commander, the leader of the deck, okay? And so the reason why I chose him to be the commander is because he's like a hot vampire guy. Like, he's hot, like he's got abs and he's like evil looking and stuff, basically. So that was literally the only reason, which is like, I mean, that's still a legit reason. So when I actually read him, I don't actually like how he works. So he basically works with like krakens and squids and stuff. Yeah, so he actually transforms into a big squid thing, into like Cthulhu. He turns into Cthulhu, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about squids and krakens and stuff like that. I like him as a vampire. I wish he turned into like a vampire thing or something like that. That would have been way cooler. So he remains in the deck, yes, because I can't get rid of him, but he is not the leader of the deck. Okay, so the actual leader of the deck, I've chosen Oona Queen of the Fae, because she's like a fairy thing, And this is the special edition full art version. And she's still black and blue, because he was black and blue, and I kind of like to go for those colors. So basically what she does is you can pay X and then a black or a blue. And we choose a color, and the opponent gets rid of the top X cards of their deck, because we paid X, and for each card of the color that we chose that comes up, we create a fairy. Now, that's very good for two reasons. One, we're getting out all these little fairies that are going to stop our opponents from attacking us. But also, we're exiling the top. We're not discarding the cards from the deck. We're exiling them, so they're gone forever. They're forever gone. So she's now the commander, and she can be played from any time. She doesn't have to be inside the main deck. She comes out whenever we want. So we're going to talk about getting rid of cards. So here we have Drown in Dreams. And it says, choose one. If you control your commander, you may choose both. Target player draws X cards. Target player mills X cards. So milling cards, discarding cards from the top of the deck so we can get rid of more of their cards. And we can draw cards if we want to, or we can make them draw cards, which is also still emptying their deck. Because if your deck runs out completely, then you lose the game. Here's another one, Fractured Sanity. Each opponent mills 14 cards. But it also can be discarded from your hand to draw a card. And when you do that, when you cycle it, each opponent mills 4 cards. So there's a slightly lower level version of it. So that's a really cool card as well, getting rid of cards. Here we have some cool graveyardy sea ship thing. And again, I can pay for a target player to mill 3 cards. So we're getting rid of more of their cards. Merfolk Secret Keeper, it costs 1 to get out. It's got this Venture Deeper thing. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. So again, that's milling cards, getting rid of cards and stuff. All of Lost Thoughts, when it enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. So again, getting rid of some cards and stuff like that. And there's also going to be a point we need to talk about later when I might want to do that to myself because I might want some cards in my graveyard, in my discard pile that I want to draw from. But we'll see. Black Cat, I like this card. It says when it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. I just think that's funny. So, Leyline of the Void. This is interesting. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin with it on the battlefield. You don't have to pay for it. It can just come out straight away. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. That's very mean. So all of that milling that we just did, those cards will get exiled and destroyed as well. So yeah, that's quite mean, but there we go. What's this guy do? He's a ghost. He's got some ghosts. When he deals combat damage, that player puts the top 2 cards into there, and again, so he's getting rid of your cards well, and he's a cool little ghosty thing. Here's another ghost. You may cast spirits as though they had flash, and he has flash, which means that they can basically be cast at any time instead of having to wait. So that's cool. He's a cool ghost. We've got some ghosts. Yeah, this is my ghosts and stuff. Other spirits you control get +1/+1, so all my ghost gets +1, and spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. So that's also good. If I were to get some spells into my discard pile, then it cost me 1 less to cast as well. So that's cool. Here's another ghosty. He doesn't attack, he's a defender, and he lets me look at the top card of my library, so that's just kind of cool. It's just a little, and I just think that's cool, just reading the books in the library and stuff like that. Here's a ghost ship. It's all shiny, and I can pay to regenerate its health, so it doesn't actually be dead if it takes damage and stuff like that, so that's cool. Here's another ghost. He's very cool. Spectral Adversary, look at him. When he comes into play, I may pay some stuff, and when we do that, we put some pluses on him, so he gets stronger, and also up to that many artifacts, creatures, or enchantments phase out. So phase out means that they stay on the board, but they disappear until like a turn later, and then they come back. So that's kind of a cool way of getting rid of like a lot of stuff just real quickly. And he has flash as well, so again, he can be played at any time and do that. Here's a March of Swirling Mist. I think that looks cool. Again, that does up to X creatures phase out, so that phases things out as well. I think that's pretty cool. Here's another ghost, Whelming Ghostlight. This, when it enters, it returns 1 non-spirit creature to their owner's hand. So it basically just gets rid of something that somebody just played, which I think is cool. Here's Fading Hope. Return creature to its owner's hand again. Now we're getting into the removal sort of cards that get rid of things. Mist Raven, return creature to its owner's hand again. Brazen Borer, he's a fairy, which is cool. And he has his Petty Theft, return non-land permanent to its owner's hand again. It's another removal bouncy thing. It's called a bounce because it bounces it back, so that's good. And he has flash and he is flying, so he's a cool fairy thing as well. Eliminate, it says destroy target creature or thing, so that's really cool. So just for getting rid of something basically. This is Doomblade. So this says destroy a non-black creature. I think it says something like that. Destroy non-black creature or something. I don't know. It's in Japanese. I should probably go and look at what it says, but there we go. I just thought it looked cool. I thought it's a cool thing, yeah. There's a big black evil thing coming along and destroying you, yeah, basically, yeah. Frogify, it basically just turns somebody into a frog, which is cool. I always thought that was a really cool card. I always like that. It's really annoying. Oh, here's a dragon guy. Okay, so when he dies, we can choose one. Return a thing to their hand, which is what we've just been talking about. Removal, we just remove some. Or we mill 6 cards, and then we return some things from our discard pile to our hand. So that's cool as well. So I like him. He's a cool dragon-y thing. Here's Mystic Sanctuary. Again, put an instant or sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. So returning things from our graveyard as well. Here's a Witch's Cottage. I may put a target creature from my graveyard on top of my library as well, and I just think that's a really cool piece of artwork and stuff like that as well. Just looks really cool. So we're bringing things back now. We're into bringing things back. Here again, here's a graveyard. Return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Mortuary Mire. You may put a creature from your graveyard on top of your library. Oh, the Crow of Dark Tidings. This is interesting. When it enters the battlefield or dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. So I'm discarding cards, but I'll be able to bring them back as well with the cards I just showed off as well. That's pretty cool. And here we have the God of Death. And he says, At the beginning of your upkeep, which is at the end of my turn, I have to exile 2 cards from my graveyard, and if I can't, he gets destroyed because he's very powerful. He has death touch, which means he'll immediately kill you if he touches you, but he's keeping himself around by exiling cards from the graveyard. So that's why I have like this crow thing and stuff like that, so I can make sure he sits around. He can be played on his other side as well, this Throne of Death thing. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. It's putting cards in if it wanted to do that as well. So yeah, I just think he's really cool. He's got a big scythe and stuff. Oh yeah, I should say, by the way, I should say that I didn't actually try to make this like really synergetic and really combo effect and all that kind of thing. Basically, I just go for cards that I like, yeah? Because there's a lot of fairies that I personally think they look really ugly or kind of like weird and stuff. So I wasn't really attracted to them and stuff like that. These are all cards that I definitely pretty much like 90 or to 100% like absolutely like, and that's kind of what I went for building this kind of thing. I didn't want to put any cards in that I thought were ugly or didn't like. If I don't get a vibe from it, then I didn't want to put it in. Look at this ominous roost. There's the evil moon coming down, all the crows and stuff. When Ominous Roost enters the battlefield, or when you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a bird, basically. So if we're casting lots of spells from our graveyard, we're not actually casting lots of spells from our graveyard. We're not going to be doing that a lot. But it's just a cool little extra thing to put there. So there we go. Here's a cool vampire guy. He's a cool vampire guy. And you may cast him from the graveyard if you gained life this turn. So that's cool. So he can be coming out of the graveyard, as we just said. Essence Pulse. I just thought this was a cool looking thing. You gain 2 life, so we can cast that vampire guy. And each creature gets -X, where X is the amount of life we gained. And if you get minus over the amount of life that you have, then they will be killed. So this is a good way of killing off lots of multiple small things at once, basically. Here's some food. Food tokens. I think food tokens are cool. Wait, there's your food, there's your food, there's your food, there's your food. Is that a double-sided shiny food? Oh, it has a giant on the back. We're not using that giant. We're just using the food. Here's your food. Here's your food. So basically lots of foods. Because I've got Taste of Death, each player sacrifice 3 creatures. You create 3 food tokens. That's a good way of getting rid of some of their things as well. So, and I thought that was pretty like cool, evil looking. I just thought that was cool out with the apples and stuff. Here's this lantern thing. Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a permanent. So basically getting them to get rid of their cards again. And this is double-sided. When they sacrifice something or discard it, I get to take it and put it as if I own it, which is quite powerful. But I also think this lantern is pretty cool as well. So getting rid of things, basically getting rid of all your things. We're getting rid of all your things, yeah. Halo Forager. This is a really cute fairy. I thought this was really cute and nice. I wish more of the fairies looked like this because they don't necessarily in the artwork. But I thought that was a really nice fairy. What does it do? I don't know. I just liked it because it was a blue and black fairy. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, you may cast an instant or sorcery from a graveyard. Not from your graveyard, from a graveyard. You may cast an instant or sorcery from a graveyard without paying its cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So I'm still, if I cast one of your spells, I'm going to get rid of it as well. So I really like that. I think that's really nice and cool. Time Warp. So here's some instant and sorceries we were just talking about. We were just getting some instant and sorceries. And I pulled this in a booster as well, so I didn't have to pay the extortionate price. It's not that bad, is it? I just think it's really cool. It's Time Warp, isn't it? You got to jump to the left and all that, ain't you? Here's another sorcery. Sign in Blood. Well, I think that's cool looking. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. It's just cool because you can draw cards for yourself if you want to lose some life, or I can make you lose life and draw more cards and waste time with your deck. So that's cool. Sign in Blood, yeah. Oh yeah, Angel's Breath, of course, Angel's Breath. I mean, like, I should probably really just use this on myself, to be honest, but hey, you know. Boon of the Wish Giver, he's a cool thing. Look at him, I don't know what he is. He's some kind of cool looking dragon thing. Draw 4 cards, pretty cool. Alternatively, just discard this card and draw a single card if we're drawing that at the start of the game or later on in the game. I think that's really cool. It's her. It's like I had to put that in, didn't I? Because she's on another card. I had to put that in. Target player draws a card, and then you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land, so you can play it again. So that's kind of cool. Winged words. Draw 2 cards. Oh yeah, I think we're probably in the draw. This is the packet of cards that are all about card draw, because it's important to have a certain number of cards that are drawing cards. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck with nothing in our hands. So, moment of truth. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty. It's a pretty card. I just go for the pretty ones, right? Look at the top 3 cards. Put one into your hand, one into your graveyard, and one on the bottom. I think that's really useful. I think that's really good. Nine-tailed fox. He's cool. When he deals combat damage, draw a card. That's interesting. Oh yeah, I like this witching wow thing. It comes into play very cheaply, and you get to look at the top 2 cards, and then later on we can sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. I think that's just really cool. I just really like this as a card, basically. And we have the Poet's Quill, which allows us to learn, which is basically means we can discard a card to draw a card. And also it does a thing as well. They get equipped and stuff like that. So I really like this card. I think that's a really cool card. Magic Mirror. I mean, I don't even know how useful this is. It's like really expensive and stuff, but I just thought that was so cool. I was like, I can't not have that. Look how cool that is. You have no maximum hand size, yeah, because you could normally only have 7 cards in your hand. Yeah, and the Folio of Fancies as well. Again, players have no maximum hand size. This is interesting. So to pay X and X, each player draws X cards, so we can draw cards, but also each opponent puts a number of cards equal to the number of cards in their hand from the top of their library into their graveyard. So if we force lots of cards into our opponent's hand and then make them get rid of cards from the top of their deck, they may run out of cards quite quickly. So especially with all the other milling and exiling that we're trying to do. So it's not a great strategy or anything, yeah. Like, it's not like a massive strategy. I just think that they go well together and I'm just having fun with it. So that's what we're doing, yeah. Oh yeah, Mysterious Tome. This is probably one of my favorite cards. I just think this is so cool looking and stuff like that. For 2 and a tap, draw a card, and then transform it. So it lets me draw a card, which is really cool, and then it transforms into the Chilling Chronicle, and then it says tap target non-land permanent. So it basically freezes an opponent's thing as well, and then it transforms again. It just keeps going round and round and round. So I just think that's really, really cool thing to have. Whooshish. Oh yeah. And I've got it again here so I can have it in it, so I don't have to take it out of a sleeve. Basically, I can just have the other side of it as well. Yeah, so we're kind of looking at my artifacts and things now. So here's another artifact, Wedding Invitation. Again, really cool. I think that really fits the theme of my deck and everything like that. Because I was mostly going for cards that I just thought felt like they fitted the vibe and the theme and stuff. Midnight Clock. It's a cool clock thing. I just thought that was really cool. Basically, you put clock counters on it, and then after the 12th hour is put on it, shuffle my hand and then draw 7 cards. So that's kind of cool for getting resetting my hand and stuff like that. Here's a Soul Ring. You can't build a commander deck without a Soul Ring. Like, everybody has a Soul Ring. This is the cool, dark Soul Ring. Like, it's dark. It's a spooky looking one as well. So I thought that was really cool. Soul Ring is a classic ramp card because it gets you ahead of the game. It costs 1 to play it, but it can tap for 2. So you're slightly ahead when you do that. So we're getting into ramp now, cards that get us ahead. Add 1 mana of any color, and also looking at the top of our deck, if it's a land, we may put it onto the battlefield tap, which is getting more cards out for future turns and stuff like that. Component pouch, again, I think all these cards just go together. This is another ramp thing because we're adding mana of different colors and we're putting component counters. Spell satchel, again, we're getting things out of the spell satchel to ramp up and stuff like that. Horizon Stone is an interesting one. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes colorless, so we don't lose. I think that looks really cool as well. Corrupted Gravestone thing. I just think it fits the theme of the deck, basically. And we choose a color of a card in our graveyard and add 1 mana of that color. So again, we're getting more colors and things out. So that's really cool. Sky Diamond, again, I thought that looked really cool. And it adds a blue It's really cool. Letter of Acceptance. Add 1 mana of any color, and we can also get rid of it to draw a card. I just thought that was a really cool card as well. So all of those were artifacts. So she's our artifact merfolk woman. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control, which is cool. When she enters the battlefield, we put the top 4 cards of our library into our graveyard, and she can tap and choose an artifact in the graveyard and then play it from the graveyard. Basically, that's what she can do. So yeah, I think she's really cool for getting. I really like that you can play artifacts that are already basically binned out, basically, and I think it's cool that she's gone and got the Excalibur sword from the lake and that kind of thing. I think that's a good twist on the Arthurian tale there, so I really like that. Mirror Maid. This is the first rare card I ever pulled when I ever opened any Magic the Gathering ever, so I'm kind of nostalgic for this card. So I just really like this card. I had to put this in. You may have Mirror Maid enter as a copy of any artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. I really like that. I'm nostalgic for it, and also I think it's cool that you can copy any artifact that you have, any artifact that they have, or any enchantment as well. So Astral Dragon, he's just a cool dragon. When he enters the battlefield, we can create 2 tokens that are copies of something, except that they're dragons. So that's interesting because you can also copy a land for ramping, so we can have them as lands for ramping, or just copy anything else, basically. I just thought he was cool for doing that kind of copying thing, like the Mirror Maid and stuff like that. He's quite expensive though, but Winged Boots. It's just some boots that fly and stuff. I just thought that was really cool. It has Ward 4, which means that you have to pay 4 if you want to target it with a spell, which is really cool. And I just like this artifact and stuff like that. Here's a hot vampire guy. It's another vampire guy. I thought he was cool. He's flying, he has ward, and he does this cool thing. When he deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1 counters on him, because he basically sucks your blood, basically, and he gets really powerful, so I really like him, basically. Here's the Fae of Wishes. I just thought they're really pretty, and they're fairies and stuff, and they got this wish thing. You may choose a non-creature card you own from outside the game and put it into, so outside the game, so like any card that's like not in the deck, basically, if we get into a bind or something. I actually don't think that's very useful. I can't even think of what I would use, but you never know. So I just put them in because they're a fairy, basically. I just thought that was a really cool card. Here's another fairy, yeah. When it enters the battlefield, counter target spell with value X or less, where X is the number of fairies you control. So it's basically a counter spell, but using fairies, and especially if she is producing fairies with her producing fairies ability, then we may be able to counter some strong spells possibly with that. So that's really cool. So I like that one. Here's a raven guy. He just looked kind of cool, basically. He's one I would maybe replace with a card at some point, but he's in here. The fog bank. I think this fog bank has served me quite well, actually. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by fog banks, so he basically can't be like defeated in battle. Basically, it's kind of really annoying to get rid of him, and he's a defender as well, so he just blocks all damage. So I kind of like that, and I think it fits the theme as well. I think that fits the theme of the deck as well. All right, so we're on to my lands now. These are just we got this cool looking thing for searching for certain lands. Got this ghostly thing. I thought that was cool, and it destroys one of their opponent's lands if they got a really powerful land. The Crystal Grotto, it is what it is. Add 1 mana of any color. It is what it is. I just thought it was cool to have it. The Barren Moor, it enters tapped. I could discard it from my hand to draw a card, or just have it. I think it just looks kind of cool. The Vivid Marsh, it enters with 2 charge counters on it. Remove a charge counter and add 1 mana any color, or just have the black. I just thought that was a cool thing. This castle thing, again, it lets me like look at the top 2 cards and stuff, but it's also just a castle. This Dismal Backwater, I just thought that was really cool. It can be a blue or a black. The Bad River, this is interesting. You can sacrifice it to search for either an island or a swamp, depending on what we need, which is cool. River of Tears, add water, but if you played a land, add black instead. Interesting. Choked Estuary, it enters tapped unless you reveal an island or swamp from your hand, which is interesting. Arcane Sanctum, it can add white, blue, or black, which is basically we're just doing blue or black. So yeah, there we go. And now we're on to the lands themselves. We've got the swamps. Here's all the swamps. They're just generic swamps. And then the islands as well. These are just islands there, and they don't enter tap, they just come straight into play. All the islands. Cool. Alright. And then we've got on an adventure, if anybody wants to go on an adventure for telling a card some adventures. And then this is the other card as well. The non-promo version of the Halo Forager. I just thought it was cool because I really like that. So yes, that's it. Oh my goodness, I'm tired now, guys. That was a puff out. Look at all this. I gotta put this all back in the sleeves now, basically. Hey, that's my commander deck. It's my first ever one that I ever made. I made it myself, and I made it for fun instead of it trying to be really powerful or something. I guess in terms of commander power level, it's probably a 4 out of 10. I think that because 5 is the best level for casual playings with friends. I guess this is probably a bit of a 4 because it's not like super synergetic for middling play, but yeah, that's it. Okay, so let me know what you think. I worked hard on it, but I had fun with it, so yeah, that's it. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put them back in the box now. I'm gonna put them back in the sleeves now. Yeah, that's it.